I got this notice a little bit shorter than everybody else. Jeff, he didn't call me. He used Facebook and said, "Hey Rex, someone backed out. We need you." I was like, "Okay." So here we are. Some of you know me better than others of you do, but one of the things you have to know about me is I am the king of the awkward moment. If there's an awkward moment to be had, this guy is here. You know, you think about saying the wrong thing in a conversation, you share that funny picture on Facebook, and then you look back and you realize like every other word's a curse word, and I'm like, I didn't know that. I just thought the picture was funny. I've done all of that. I'll tell you about an awkward conversation I wound up having with somebody. Several years ago, Brandy, well, not that long ago, she used to work at Long John Silver's, so I'd be coming in from work and I'd visit Brandy there. And there was a new person working there, and they knew she was going to be starting for a while, so I already was aware of this person's existence. And then, you know, it was a downtime, and Brandy was, I think, at the drive-thru taking orders or mixing coleslaw or something, breaking the frozen pieces of fish apart. You know, there's a good picture for you. And I got to talking, and the person was a few years younger than me, and I said, "Hi, I'm Rex. I don't think we were married yet." So I said, "I'm Brandy's boyfriend or fiance, or whatever." She told me her name. We went through the whole thing, and we realized we went to the same high school. And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay. What year did you graduate?" And then she said, "Oh, I didn't. I dropped out." Awkward right there. And then we got to talking about stuff we had in high school. And I actually felt bad for her as the conversation went, because we started talking about teachers we had. And she was telling me about this and this and this teacher, and I felt really bad for her because over at Ravenswood High School, the vast majority of those teachers are great teachers. But apparently the ones she was telling me about, if you wanted to assemble an elite team of the worst ones possible, that's who she had. It is all sorts of stories like this teacher was mean and nasty and said this, and well, I remember that teacher, and I believe it. This other teacher, mean old scary guy, well, yeah, he was. There's no way out of it. Yeah, he was. And I thought if I'd have had all them back to back to back in 1 year, I'd have been done too for school. And I still see a lot of that in like a school sense, where if you have that bad year or that bad class, that's it. When I was in Morgantown, there was one class, and it was it was multivariable calculus, the third calculus class you have to take. And we all got like 15 points taken off on this exam. We all was looking at it. Why? Because all of us, it was some real simple step that all of us just knew. It's like, okay, that's the answer. Okay, on to the next step. Apparently, that teacher thought that was the whole point of the problem, even though it wasn't. 3 people never came back after they got that test back. One person completely changed majors, completely changed their career, their whole life, because of that one run-in with a teacher. And a couple other examples. There was, I think, a song called Word Crimes that came out last week. It was like a Weird Al song where he's spoofing something else. And it was like a silly song about grammar. Brandy found it on Facebook and played it for me. I watched that video and I started tensing up because I had flashbacks to 10th grade English. I'm not lying. I could feel like muscles tensing that hadn't tensed in like 15 years. And that's the thing is, like, there are great teachers out there. So all you people that are teachers, don't murder me in the parking lot. You do great work. But there are some where you're just traumatized afterwards. And I got to thinking about that. And I got to thinking about a verse I'd read, and I looked it up, and it's from James chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. King James is what I'll be reading from. It says, "My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation." New King James says, "My brethren, let not many of you become teachers." Nice little parallel there. For in many, they go on not so much about teaching, but taming the tongue and stuff like that. In other words, how you teach, how you give the lesson. It says, "For many things we offend all. If any man that offended not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horse's mouth that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet they are turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell." Now, gave you some silly examples from school. Now let's bring this into the church here. the church is in right here, or even in general, what everybody everywhere calls church. I don't know how many conversations I've had with people. They'll say, well, I don't go to church. I'm like, okay, why? Well, so-and-so said this one thing to me, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, then you kind of get in a conversation with them, and you think, well, that preacher was absolutely right. But that was the meanest way possible to have said that. Again, like a preacher is also a teacher. I think that's fair, isn't it, Jeff? Yep, the high school teacher screwed up somebody, and the teacher about this book right here gave the lesson wrong, again, like all those teachers I talked about earlier. As far as I know, they're still teaching if they haven't retired. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything to get themselves fired or anything. It was just with that one student, they did it the total wrong way to have got the point across. And that's the thing here. And I've talked to people lots of places. They'll say, well, I'm trying to think of a good example off the top of my head. Somebody was telling me one time they just didn't come around very often because they couldn't. And the next thing you know, they got the letter or the phone call. Somebody chewed them out for not coming. It's like, well, I'm trying. That person didn't go to church there anymore. They switched somewhere else. And that's my point being is we have to be careful about how to do that. I think Brandy and I were talking actually to John Bales about something similar to this. You can be absolutely right, have all the facts right, but you can do it in such a wrong manner that you'll run somebody off. And that's just what we need to be careful about. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.